Here we go. It's the Combine Podcast.
Derby day. Here we go. Right, so the lineup is announced, and we can confirm that it is Alisson, it's Trent, it's Kabak, Hendo, Robbo at the back, a midfield of Thiago, Gini, and Jones. Front three: Salah, Firmino, Mane, and the subs are Adrian, Keita, the Ox, Tsimikas, Shaq, Ariga, Davis, Phillips, Nico Williams, and I know I've already said him, but Mick, big shock, Naby Keita's back in the squad. How happy are you about that, mate?
Boss news. I mean, I thought he might be fit for the Leipzig, but apparently he was ill, wasn't he? But no, it's boss to have him back in, another option off the bench if we need him to. So yeah, made up with that. Good
stuff, mate. Matt, no changes obviously from midweek. Not really surprised given the state and the depth of the squad at the minute. You've got to go strong, and we said, didn't we, on the preview show? It's a case of, well, we might as well just keep with a winning formula.
Yeah, a bit of consistency in what's been a very choppy and changey season. They made amends against Leipzig. They had the bit between their teeth. They were energetic. They were all over the place, and you don't need to get up for a derby. But the fact that this team last performed very well, they'll be up for it anyway. So it's good to see.
Yeah, it really is, mate. Tim, again, no shocks really there. But we mentioned on the previous show about Kabak and his Anfield debut. Big game for him tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big game for a young lad. It's his first proper Merseyside derby, so I reckon he'll be well up for it. He's going to have a big challenge ahead of him today with Calvert-Lewin, and it's just another opportunity for him to continue his increase in form that we've seen over the last two games. He's steadily got better, so hopefully we'll see more of that today.
Yeah, absolutely. Go on, Mick.
I was just going to say on that, because I've just checked the Everton news. Do you want me to deliver that to you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the next thing I was going to say to you, mate. Go for it.
Okay, so in goals, Pickford. They've got Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Keane, Digne, Decore, Gomez, Davis, Rodriguez, and Richarlison.
Oh.
So no Calvert-Lewin. He's on the bench, and so is Allen on the bench. So just when you touched on there, Tim, Calvert-Lewin, then at least he's not starting, so...
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that Richarlison is more likely to bring out that bad side of Kabak, that ill-disciplined side, because I think we've seen the tackle on Thiago. We've seen what he's like. We've seen he tries to get under people's skin, and he's done it successfully before. So I think that might be even more of a challenge on that side of things, but obviously a little bit less of a challenge in terms of the defending. He's not as much a natural centre forward as Calvert-Lewin is. He's not as much a threat in the air, so hopefully he'll have, as long as he keeps himself under control in terms of his temper, I think he should be all right with Richarlison. But here we go.
Yeah, no, true. Mick, James Rodriguez, he's in. Are you a little bit worried?
From a perspective of them going forward and being creative, yeah, I am, because he's a very good player, but I think that benefits us in a way because we're going forward. He won't track as much back as Alex Iwobi will. So in that regard, it's a good move, because I'm just trying to figure out what they're playing. I don't know, but I imagine Rodriguez will be on the right, won't he? So it's going to be either way. He's going to be a threat, but he's not going to be tracking runners in the same way other members of the squad will. So I hope we find some joy there.
Yeah.
Opta's got Everton in a 4-5-1, but it's more likely to be a 5 at the back, isn't it, with Coleman and Digne as wing backs?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Matt, Neil Perry's just put in a really, really good comment saying, would you rather Pickford or Olsen was in goal for them? Go on, you can answer that.
Pickford. It's not just the fact that he's shit anyway. It's because second choice keepers just come to Anfield and have blinders. So I'd rather first choice goalkeepers to come to Anfield.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Mick, just with the Thiago talk this week has been about, obviously, quote unquote revenge and all that sort of stuff, because Everton sort of derailed his progression at Liverpool, if you like. That's what a lot of fans are saying, and it's what a lot of Evertonians have been moaning about this week, that we've been saying that and all that sort of stuff. But big day for him, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like there's been a lot of talk about, but obviously that tackle that kept him on for 3 months, coming up against Richarlison again. But since then, he's came back into the team. He's had a load of shit, hasn't he? Like from the perspective of his tackling and not being as crisp as it needs to be, but he's playing a different role to what he was at Bayern in that regard. He's having to make more tackles. I think he's made more tackles than anyone the last time I checked. So, he's just getting used to it. He's getting used to the team. He's getting used to how not giving away those stupid fouls. And I think you could see a little glimpse of that against the Leipzig game where he wasn't flying in full-blooded like he did against Leicester, and he has in other games where he gives away fouls around the box and stuff like that, which he needs to get out of his game. So, it's a big game for him, but I'm glad he's on the pitch because he can make anything happen. We know that, and if they come out, especially that Rodriguez is playing, I think that'll create more space for Thiago, to be honest, to pick up nice little pockets to get us in behind.
True. Tim, at what point do you see Naby Keita being thrown into the mix? Do you see that happening, or is there a certain scenario for him to get on the pitch, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, by all accounts, it was an illness that kept him out of midweek, wasn't it? Rather than the actual injury that he had sustained. So if he is actually fit and healthy and the muscle problem isn't much of an issue anymore, I would have thought that kind of well, I guess it depends on performance as well, because if everyone in the midfield is having a blinder and, it is a close game, I wouldn't expect to see him thrown into a game like that. Whereas if it is a close game, it's a 1-1 and we're pushing into the 70th minute and we're lacking a bit of creativity from the midfield, I would expect to see him, especially if he has had a week of fitness and it is just that illness that's kept him out. And yeah, I think that I would want to see him, because I think that the best way to deal with Naby Keita coming back is exactly that, 15 minutes at a time until he's really kind of shows progression and is used to being fit and playing a little bit of football, and bring him in slowly rather than just throw him in for a full 90 the game after this and have the same thing reoccur. So yeah,
fair play, mate. Matt, another thing on the bench is that Ben Davies has been added back to the bench ahead of Williams in terms of centre back. So again, it's nice to see him on the bench, because it was a case of, well, he hadn't been on for a while, had he? So he's like, well, why the fuck have we bought him? That type of thing. But it's good, hopefully he doesn't have to come on, and I mean that in a positive way, because we won't have any injuries to Hendo or to Kabak. But obviously, I would like to see him come on if a case, we are protecting a lead, or there's a case of we're 4-0 up here. Let's stick Hendo back in midfield for a bit and let's bring Davies on. Do you know what I mean? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? If we could see him in that scenario.
Yeah, I'd like to see him come on in that scenario. Anything to free up Hendo back in the midfield would be great. He hasn't been on the bench because of injury by all accounts. I was thinking that maybe he was brought in just as a body, but I think he's been brought in to be above Phillips and Williams in the pecking order. I don't think we would have splurged to have him behind the kids. If the kids were the answer, then we wouldn't have signed. But yeah, ideally he comes on when we're winning, like Keita. Hopefully we're winning like 3-4-0, and you can throw on Keita and Davis together and give Hendo a bit of a free roll.
Absolutely not. Not in normal circumstances. I'd be saying yeah. But you know what I mean. It's just at the minute I'm like, oh, very, very nerve-wracking. Mick, just one final thing before we finish, because obviously we're coming up to the 10-minute mark now. We want to make sure that everyone gets a bevy and they get all ready. I'm gonna have a beer. I don't know about you, Mick and Matt, but Posh RC has got a fucking latte. You know what I mean? Fucking Nat Phillips isn't in the squad, or is he? No, yeah, he is. He's on the bench having a fucking latte. There he is. So
there you go. Mate.
But Mick,
just get my energy up.
Mick, the Merseyside derby for the proportion of our lives in terms of we watch Merseyside has always been Gerrard and Carragher as the blood of the side. There's always been those two in the side, and in a starting lineup, we've got Curtis Jones, we've got Trent, and two local lads. I know Hendo's going to be very vocal anyway in terms of getting the team up for this game, but if there's two lads you want fucking starting this game, it's those two, isn't it?
Yeah, because they've played in the mini derbies throughout all the age ranks through the academy, so they know what it means. They're both obviously boyhood Reds, so they know exactly what this game's made of. I mean, I've watched. I remember watching a few with Curtis Jones in the youth team, and he was just absolutely clattering into people. Same with Trent. I don't think they're kind of that type of player, really. I think they probably just did it when they were a bit younger because they wanted to make themselves into a bigger name and whatever. But I would love one of them today. I mean, up to the point where they don't get sent off. I mean, David just threw in there. He reckons Thiago's going to get sent off. I fucking hope not. But no, it's good that we've got those type of lads in there that knows what this means, and they're not gonna give them an inch on the ball, and that's what we need today. We need 100% from everyone to beat a good Everton side. Like we were talking yesterday about their good away record, so we're gonna need a good performance here, especially with that coincides with our not very good recent form at home. So we need to put in a big one today.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody want to give a score prediction before we go?
Yeah, go on. 4-1.
Let me guess. Bobby, all 4.
Bobby hat trick.
Fuck.
And Ozan Maldini to get the opener.
Brilliant. Oh, fucking hell. Right.
You might as well put a quid on it, because if I end up being right, then I've won you a bit of money.
True. Dan's fucking gone for 6-0. So whatever you and Dan have been drinking, I want some of it, which is just absolutely brilliant. Mick, do you want to venture anything, or you can't top it?
I'm gonna stick with 2-0. What I said yesterday, 2-0. Come on,
Tim.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2-0 as well. Actually, I think that's more reasonable than the 2-0. quick 2-0. It is what it is. You know what I mean.
Fair play. Right, well, we're going to go. Thanks everybody for joining us as per usual. Enjoy the match. We'll be here straight after it as per usual, and just fucking win, Reds. Up the Reds. Come on.